Good morning.
Morning.
Wait, just for you there, Mr. Morgan?
I'm dual role today. I'm a commissioner and running Zoom.
Ah, man of many skills.
Good morning. As you know, I'm Travis Mock. I'm the chair. I want to thank you for your application and interest in serving our judiciary. We have an application from you for county court. If you could introduce yourself. You've been before us before, but we do have members. So if you could just touch on your qualifications for the whole judicial office.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Murdoch. Well, my name is Ben Rich. Currently, I am serving as the Managing Assistant State Attorney, St. Johns County. I've been in that position since about 2019 after Judge Farabee took the bench. Before that, 2010 is when I started my career at the State Attorney's Office. Originally, I was a misdemeanor and juvenile prosecutor down in Flagler County. That was for about 9 months before I was able to get back to St. John's. And then prior to that, I was in private practice for almost 5 years. I started as an attorney. I'll take it back a little further. When I first got involved in the legal community here in St. John's was when I became a clerk for R.J. Larissa, Alex Christini, before Alex Christini took the bench. That was my summer of my first year of law school. And that was an eye-opening experience, working for Mr. Larissa and Judge Christini. I clerked with them throughout my law school career, and then was hired by Alex Christini as his associate upon completing law school and passing the bar. Worked with Alex Christini for a couple of years. His wife at the time was the managing assistant state attorney here in St. John's. That was under State Attorney John Tanner. She left the state attorney's office and went to work with Alex and I at the firm. At that point, I had an opportunity to join a law firm with a friend of mine, James McCune. Joined that law firm, was with James for a couple of years, and then had the opportunity to come to the state attorney's office. So my career kind of went a little bit backwards. Most people start at the state attorney's office and then kind of migrate into private practice. I did it backwards. Have no regrets, though, I have to say. I'm very proud of my service at the state attorney's office, and continue to be. As a prosecutor, I've had an opportunity. It's been kind of unique for me because I've had an opportunity to do just about every job you can possibly do at the state attorney's office, from misdemeanor, juvenile, felony. I've done a little bit of everything. Baker Acts, probably the most bizarre one that I came to know more than I probably want to was bond validations for when somebody's doing a planned community development, a CDD. Those were always interesting. A little bit about myself. I was born up in Salisbury, Maryland. My father was a federal agent. He transferred to Brunswick, Georgia when I was in the first grade. Spent some time in Brunswick, Georgia as he taught at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center there. Moved to St. Augustine when I was 15. He was working at that time for U.S. Customs, the Customs Service, before it fell under Homeland Security. Back then, it was just U.S. Customs. It wasn't U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, it was just U.S. Customs. They have a facility, still do to this day, was at the time the National Marine Support Center on US 1 North, just outside of town here. And went to St. Augustine High School, graduated, then went to St. John's River at the time, community college. Now I think it's St. John's River State College. I don't have community colleges anymore. I think they've all become state colleges. From there to UCF and then to Florida Coastal. Throughout that entire time, I've never moved out of St. Augustine. I made a decision very early on after moving here at the age of 15 that I love this county. I love it. I don't want to live anywhere else. It's changed a lot since I was 15. It's grown a lot. It's definitely not the same place that it was, but it's still a great place to live. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that I've stayed at the state attorney's office so long. Not only, the people that I work with who are absolutely wonderful, and I think that all of them are there because they have a calling to serve their community. But I take a real pleasure, and it's an honor for me to be able to serve here in St. Johns County and keep St. Johns County a safe place. My parents still live here. I'm raising a family here. So it's really, really important to me to be able to keep St. Johns County a good place to live.
So following up on that, why didn't you apply for the clerk seat?
I thought about it, and it's not something that I wouldn't rule out in the future. But honestly, I think that cutting my teeth in county court it is the right decision. It's something that I gave a lot of thought to. It's something that I consulted, with friends about, something I prayed about. And I think that at this particular juncture in my career and in my life, the county seat is the right place for me.
If you're appointed county court bench, do you think you would transport inmates from the county jail to the courtroom for their appearance in front of you?
I think it would depend on the nature of the hearing in front of me. If it's evidentiary, of course, they're coming over to the courthouse. I think there's good and bad points as far as transporting inmates to the courtroom. Now, if you're talking about for something like a pretrial hearing where there's not going to be any evidence introduced,
What about a clean sentencing?
oh, they're definitely coming over to the courthouse for that. 100%. 100%.
Sure you're gonna be able to answer this, but can you name all the judges in St. Johns County?
Yes, sir. You want me to go through them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have Judge Janesk, who splits his time. You have Judge Maltz, who's our administrative judge. You have Judge McGillen, Judge Farabee. You have Judge Christini. Lauren Blocker's no longer with us, of course. She's moved on to Volusia to the circuit seat. And then you have Judge Woolsey. Oh, when I left out Judge Smith, can't do that. So when I'm in front of
Basically, an obvious one.
oh, he's gonna get me back for that, don't worry.
Mr. Rich, I have a question that,
Yes, sir.
just in my personal experience with you, you are called upon to review offers from the attorneys you are managing.
Yes, sir.
What do you look to? I mean, that to me, that's kind of like being in the role of a judge. Obviously, you're not, but you are making a decision. You're weighing factors and considering. So, what do you do when you're doing that?
Well, when you're evaluating a case, number one, each case, you got to look at a case on a case-by-case basis. You can't say, oh, well, this person's charged with this person's charged with the same thing. Why don't they have the same outcome? Could be with this person has, 15 priors. Could be this person has no prior criminal experience. So what I look at is I look at the facts. I look at the criminal history. And that's really, those are the two biggest things you look at. The facts, whether or not you can prove the case, the criminal history. And a score sheet's a good guide for that as well.
Question 39, you listed awards and you had received the trial, I guess it's the intake top gun award, 4 years in a row. What happened in 2019?
2019, I became the manager of the office.
All right, so I'm assuming they don't give managing attorneys awards.
No, our days are done. Our days are done.
Just want to make sure that. You had some non-legal business involvement with the Betty Griffin House. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure, and I wouldn't necessarily call it business involvement.
That's the question.
Right, no, absolutely. So I serve on the board of directors for the Betty Griffin Center. The Betty Griffin Center is our local domestic violence center. They have a shelter, an actual physical shelter where they shelter victims of domestic violence. They also provide counseling for victims of domestic violence, and they have actually now, and they've had an attorney for a while, but I think probably one of the biggest benefits that I see here at the courthouse, other than all the support that they provide for victims of domestic violence, is they have an attorney that actually goes in for victims of domestic violence and argues for injunctions. So Betty Griffin, will always be near and dear to my heart. They really provide a service here that's needed.
Do you think you can continue on that board if you want to go?
Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to.
Question on conflicts. If you're to be appointed, would you have to recuse yourself from any open criminal case at the moment?
I don't think that I would be able to sit on an open criminal case that I have personal knowledge about. I think that Although I think I could probably be unbiased, I think that the appearance of impropriety would be there.
Have any questions? Do you have a judicial philosophy, and what is it?
Well, I'll make it very simple. Show restraint, follow the law. I mean, that's really my judicial philosophy. And be respectful.
If you're appointed, what do you want to be known for as a judge?
Just having integrity, listening, being respectful for people's time, the litigants' time. That's what I'd like to be known for, integrity. If I had to put it one word, integrity.
When you were certified in the past, tell us about your experience in Tallahassee. What went well and
That's an interesting story. Yeah. So my first time to Tallahassee was quite the experience, and this story could take 30 minutes, but I'm going to make it really short and sweet. It was a very eye-opening experience. I'd never actually been in the Capitol building in Tallahassee, so that was my first time being in the Capitol building. I happened to walk into the building soaking wet because I drove and parked. The parking place they tell you to park at is about 2.5 blocks from the Capitol building, and there was a deluge. I mean, it poured. So I walked in there with water coming out of my shoes. I'm in the bathroom trying to dry myself with paper towels. I mean, it was a complete mess. But I think that I did okay in that interview, even though I was kind of out of sorts and looked like a drowned rat. I think the biggest thing that I learned in those interview processes at Tallahassee is just they really are looking for your judicial philosophy. They're really looking to drill down, not only to see what you're going to say and what your responses are to their direct questions about judicial philosophy, but to kind of catch you off guard and make sure that that is really what you believe. Because anybody can go in there and say what they're wanting to hear. So I think that that's what I've learned is just kind of be yourself. Don't give the canned answer and let the chips fall where they may.
This is your closing argument or final statement. If anything you want to highlight, you touch on, important, or you don't want to leave out.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. My Dog. Well, I would just say, that I think I've had a good career here in St. Johns County. I think that anybody you would ask, I would hope would have, not necessarily all good things to say, but I think that all would say that I was, and that my decisions that I made were grounded in the law. It's just been a pleasure serving my community. I want to continue to do so. I'm just looking forward to the next chapter.
Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Thank you for your time so much. I know that this is a huge commitment, so thank you for all. Thank you. Y'all take